Hello everyone, welcome to episode 45 of Passion Project, the speedrunning and gaming variety show that encourages anyone and everyone in the speedrun and competitive gaming communities to showcase their passions in games. My name is Amber Cyper and I will be your host tonight, and if you've got a passion project of your own, you can go to gdq.gg/hotfix, find the house section near the top of the page and click the link to submit it to the show, whether that's grinding speedruns, learning and routing new categories, or breathing new life into a game in unconventional ways. Passion Project is the best place on Twitch to show the world what you love the most in speedrunning and gaming. Before we get started with the showcase that we have planned for tonight, I just want to remind everyone that prize submissions are open for SGDQ 2025. If you want more information on that, you can visit gamesdonequick.com for more info, and you can also get a ton of other info about things like hotfix and everything there as well. Tonight on Passion Project, we're visiting the land of Hyrule in its SNES era tonight, as tonight's guests Glenn and Ad129 speedrun through The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Glenn will be kicking things off with us with low percent all dungeons, and then Ad will be following things up with an any percent run, where Link's movement is entirely powered by Ad playing the French horn. And if you have no idea what any of that means, you'd do well to stick around through the show to find out for yourself. Right now, Glenn and his commentator Chex Human are joining me, and I'm thrilled to have you both here. Thank you both for being here tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty great. How about you? So, all right. What's up, everyone? I am Lan, and I'm going to be speedrunning low percent all dungeons RMG, and I'm joined by Chex Human to help commentate.
Hello, Glenn.
Hello.
Looking forward to this run.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty fun.
It's a tough run.
Yeah, so just before we get started, I'll kind of explain a bit about what this category means. So there's a few parts to that category name. So RMG stands for Restricted Major Glitches, which is one of our glitched rule sets, which allows some major glitches, but not all. Basically, we mostly allow kind of clipping and some out-of-bounds stuff, and we ban more powerful memory manipulation type of
medium
effects.
Major glitches.
Yeah. So the kind of result of this is that RMG runs do a lot of like overworld clipping to do the dungeons in kind of different order than usual. But the dungeons themselves are mostly normal gameplay. Besides that, we are going to be doing all dungeons, of course, and we're going to be low percent, which means that I'm going to be collecting the lowest number of items possible to do that. That's going to involve skipping a lot of normally very important items. So this is quite a difficult run. But I'm ready to get started.
All right. Whenever you are ready, go ahead and count us in, and we can get started on the timer.
All right. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck. Have fun.
All right.
Good
May
luck.
RNG be in your favor.
Oh boy, RNG is a big thing in this game.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm hoping it's good for you tonight.
So we start off here with the classic Zelda communicating telepathically to Link while he's in bed. And then we go rescue her, right? Right? We definitely don't go to the hula hand room. That would be unheard of. Anyway, we're going to go to the hula hand room. So I'm going to start off by doing a complicated one-frame clip here. I want to talk a bit about what that entails.
Yeah, so we've got a one-frame clip here. We're moving Link one frame at a time diagonally to get through a diagonal wall, and one particular diagonal movement while clipped in made Link teleport. So we saw Link teleport upwards, and what that had the effect of was Link wrapped around the screen and is now in a position where he can go out of bounds. And well, we're going to somewhere that what we saw there was a hole, a drop down to the normal secret passage. But since the camera was messed up, we got the failsafe room, the Chris Houlihan room.
Yep. So very normal gameplay already, just like we promised. So the reason why we're doing this right at the start is that I'm gonna have to go to Eastern Palace first, And one of the notable items that's skipped in this run is the lamp. So having bombs is going to help us out here. So we want to have some money to buy bombs. On top of that, Houlihan Room's pretty useful in low percent runs in general because we need to buy the flippers for 500 rupees. But one of the chests that like kind of could get us money contains the boomerang if we don't have the boomerang by that point, which we don't because it's low percent. It's maybe not as relevant here because we probably wouldn't get that chest anyway, but we also need a lot of money for flippers is kind of the short form of that explanation. But we're gonna get some bombs.
Yeah.
Zora, they require extortionate prices for their flippers.
And about the items that we need, there's a tension between wanting to get as few items as possible, but having the goal of all dungeons. So the flippers are only needed for one dungeon and pretty much only one room. So we still have to get the flippers despite all the glitches we can do.
So we just jump around the screen there to get into Eastern Palace a little faster.
It is fast.
I've never seen that. Oh my god.
But
there's a lot of overworld glitches I don't know about. Because most of the folks I know run no major glitches.
Yeah, most people in the community
and I know that this
do.
This is restricted major glitches in terms of like what's allowed and what's disallowed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that technically it allows anything on the overworld. But mostly we're going to be doing clipping and stuff.
anything within reason.
Yeah. So you may have noticed before I got a text box that came up, which is the infamous Zelda text. So kind of at the beginning of the game, it intended to be kind of a guide if you get lost and don't really know where to go. Zelda like talks to you it's about every minute of gameplay. Not counting like menus and screen transitions and stuff. She like gives you some text that's like hinting you towards the hole where you meet Uncle. So that's gonna come up a few times. Anyway, here's our first dark room without the lamp. If you're wondering how I know where I am, it's years and years of muscle memory.
How long have you been running this game?
I started rando in late 2017. So it's been a long time. So here we kind of just like run through the popos. Kind of hope the RNG makes them like not be in our path, but usually we end up taking damage. Oh, that's really bad actually.
Okay, we got in there.
It's fine. Yeah, you're supposed to kill all the enemies in here, but you can just damage boost instead. It's faster if you're not bad at it like I am. Anyway, it's fine. We can do some safe strats here.
We're going to have 3 hearts this whole run, and we have to stay safe this whole time.
Ideally, yeah. There's a consequence of doing Eastern Palace first, which is that there's kind of 4 big like story progression states of the game, and this is the one that's like pre-Uncle, which normally is only supposed to last like a minute or so. So the game actually doesn't save at all in this state. So if I die, like I go back to the beginning of the game. So I don't want that to happen. It shouldn't happen though. Luckily there's these fairies here. It'll be very safe. This second dark room's a little bit more complex to get through. There's 6 popos that can all move in 8 random directions at 3 different walk lengths. So you can do the math on how many different RNGs you get in this room.
I love the bomb strats.
Yeah, so I'm going to play it safe here and just leave the room and come back in. That'll reset their positions. So I can very safely just get up to the staircase. That went really well. I was a little bit worried about that room.
Both of those rooms are really tough without the lamp. You can get knocked around and have no idea where Link really is.
Can I get in front of those? Yep. Okay, so we just got a couple more rooms here before we get to Armos. bow. I'll grab this money. We need to get up to 200 rupees here.
So this is the Armos Knights fight.
Okay.
And Glenn needs to manipulate the stuff on screen to be able to delete this heart.
Like,
Yeah, we can explain this in more detail later. But yeah, you're supposed to be required to grab the heart containers. It's actually what marks the boss as defeated. But with some shenaniganry, we can actually not obtain the heart container while grabbing the heart container. The short explanation of it is basically we're going to put too many objects on screen so that it can't spawn the object that actually puts the heart in your inventory, but we're able to interact with the sprite and have it set the boss as defeated. So there's going to be a bunch of different setups for that throughout the run of varying difficulty. Luckily for Armos and also Landmolas, those boss rooms do allow you to pause and change what you have equipped after you beat the boss, but every other boss does not allow you to do that, so we have to do some very specific things to be able to spawn enough stuff. But yeah, now that...
And the boots let us spawn more stuff. Dust.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. The boots also only have one required use in this run. Which is to get the book, which has one required use, which is to get ether, which has one required use, which is to enter mire.
Yeah, that's true.
For the folks at home, the list of allowed items are the bow, the hook shot, the fire rod, ice rod, ether, hammer, the Book of Endora, the cane of Samaria, the master sword, but not the fighter sword, since that also gives you the shield, Pegasus boots, power gloves, and flippers. That is all we can pick up.
Yeah.
You can't pick up any heart containers, can't pick up the half magic. It's a difficult run.
Yeah. It's good you mentioned that, because now we're going to be actually skipping the fighter sword. So we need to go to Uncle here. Once again, we're going to spawn too much stuff, and it's going to skip. So we're going to do the sword up pose, but not have the sword, and that's like kind of like it's a soft lock. You have to save and quit out of it. Luckily, you can just do that. The reason why we have to do that is because he gives you the sword and the shield, and we don't need the shield, so we have to skip it.
And you get the save and quit point now, which makes the rest of the run a lot safer in the way that you're saying. We're going into, well, we're still in the rain state, but it is a marker, a milestone for this part of the game.
Yeah. We're going to be going through the escape sequence here to get Zelda, and
one of the requirements is rescuing Zelda to end the rain state in Hyrule.
Yeah, we do consider that a dungeon completion, so it is required.
Yeah, folks at home may have realized, oh, you didn't mention anything about the Moon Pearl. We don't get the Moon Pearl in this run.
There's no Moon Pearl.
What is normally a hard requirement for vanilla progression, not happening here.
So you may have noticed me do the mid-air save and quit on the ledge there, which is getting the most majorest glitch there is in the game. This is bad. Alright, well,
so we used an extra bomb there. Are you safe for the rest?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just won't have a bomb for Skullwoods, which is annoying, but manageable. So right now I have armed EG, so that means the next time I take damage or bonk on a wall, Link will get sent to the lower layer, which is a very, very, very major glitch. It's considered like pretty much at the top of our list of major glitches. But it is allowed on the overworld because it has a kind of very different effect that's not as major. It just so happens that the fastest way to get that armed state is by doing it right at the beginning of the castle. and then doing the entire castle dungeon here without getting hit or bonking a wall or jumping down a ledge. This guard might be annoying. Yeah, of course he gives me the worst RNG when I don't have an extra arrow. I'm gonna reload that room. Okay, this is not a good RNG either. Yep.
Yeah, we couldn't get out of that one.
I have to reset.
So resetting back to the save point that we mentioned earlier at Uncle.
So we're gonna have to run all through this again. I just did a banned glitch.
No one saw that.
Nobody saw that.
The one in the chat says, you'd think after so many Zelda games with save and quit that they'd find a way to patch it out by now. And honestly, TGH has a point there. There's also a lot of games where jumping allows you to break the game, and it's like you'd think after all these years they'd stop letting Link be able to jump in some way, shape, or form in 2D.
Yeah.
Because I found out about you through the time you ran Link's Awakening Switch, and that run. Oh,
yeah.
They turned the game into 2.5D. Why did they do this?
Why did they do that? Alright, well, maybe this time I won't waste the bomb. Okay. I probably could have dashed past him there. The sword doesn't actually have collision.
Wait, really? Is it just his body?
It's just the body.
Okay, there we go. Nice.
Yeah, I kind of didn't realize that, so you're kind of blowing my mind.
The sword has collision, like, if you hit it with your sword.
Right.
But
going right through Link's
usually
body?
just, like,
Nah, no
dash
problem.
past the sword. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't really pay attention to that sword.
Alright, this one's going better now. Hopefully that was the last reset to something going wrong. It's very possible. I might have to reset more stuff later, but let's hope not.
Keep our fingers crossed.
I like how we're nowhere near that boomerang chest, so we're not going to pick that up by accident.
No. Yeah. The interesting thing about this is, like, these setups with the bombs are actually kind of taken from, like, randomizer strats. Okay. Safe that time. Yeah, so normally you would have extra arrows here, but the amount of arrows you have left is actually a little bit variable from the Armos fight. It's kind of a pretty technical reason why. I don't know if I want to get into the weeds of explaining that one, but
yeah, I cannot explain that in a concise manner, but it has to do with the game calculating which arrow in the wall to erase when you shoot more arrows.
Yeah, we manipulate it in a certain way so that it doesn't find an arrow to erase. Otherwise, it would be able to replace it with the heart container. But it does end up erasing it for the pendant, because the pendants and crystals are can also be blocked from spawning. That would be kind of like a worst case scenario later if that happened at one point, but surely that won't happen.
Someone in chat had mentioned when we were talking about catalysts for glitches, including save and quit. Someone said Link dying is also a common glitch activator. Wind Waker and Skyward Sword runners see Link and be like, then perish. Same in Link's Awakening Switch, actually.
Yep. Also in this game, a little bit. We have Death Hole. That's about it. Actually,
I love that we take the right side. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah.
It's so much safer to go on the top.
Actually, no, now that you mention it, you're going to see Link die a few times in this run. So here we're gonna clip through and do fake flippers, which hardly even feels like a glitch to me anymore, but yeah, I'm swimming without the flippers. You might be wondering then, why do I need the flippers? It's because Swamp Palace is very weird. You'll see that later, actually. So we're gonna bring Zelda to Sanctuary here. So the reason why we're going this way is actually because we don't get the lamp. It's not even possible to go the normal way. Zelda doesn't let you push the statue unless you have the lamp. But we also get a nice side effect from this, that we're saving the key down there, and we're going to be able to get it later and use it somewhere else. So we only have to go up a certain height in the room. We just need to load the priest in order to start the cutscene. So yeah, now we're through Escape, and the first thing we're going to do is obviously go to Death Mountain.
Yeah. Death Mountain Ascent.
That's exactly what I remember doing next.
Yeah, we're just going to clip into the wall, do a screen transition up to Death Mountain, jump around the screen, and go into Tower of Hera. You know?
Just like I remember.
Pretty normal stuff. So, you may have noticed by now, but all the clipping in this game involves diagonal walls. Diagonal walls are kind of weirdly coded. Normally, like, SNES Collision works by with like 8x8 pixel blocks of like solid or passable collision, but diagonal walls require some extra coding to, you know, get around that, and they weren't coded perfectly, so we can kind of sneak our way into walls like this, and then you know, accomplish nothing. That's exactly what I meant to do. These bunny clips are a little finicky. Okay.
There we go.
So that's Death Mountain Descent. So we just did Death Mountain Ascent, DMA, and Death Mountain Descent, DMD, both of which have multiple ways of doing them, and they're both very important because that portal to the Dark World up there is the only one that doesn't require the Power Glove to reach. So it's our early way into the Dark World. And now we're in Skullwoods, and we're going here first because we want to get the fire rod. We don't have the lamp, but we want something that makes fire. So fire rod is our only option. And it's also a required item later. Oh no, I died. That was a bad mistake.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Can't believe this has happened.
I'm Link again now.
Oh, that's fortunate then.
Yeah, I'll use the bomb here. Please hit both. Okay.
Oh, I see.
This room kind of sucks without a sword. Yeah, that's what we want the extra bomb for. You don't always need it. It depends on the RNG, but... Oh no, we died again.
So, we could complete the rest of the dungeon, but we cannot.
We don't have a sword.
What I'm saying, we don't have a sword to do it.
So now I'm Link on the overworld, which is kind of weird. But you also notice the light world music here. So we're in a state called Fake Dark World. So if you die in a Dark World dungeon without having beaten the first Aghanim fight, the game actually like sends you back to the light world, kind of. So it internally sets like which world you're in as being the light world. But then we exit out to a Dark World overworld screen, so we can be Link on that screen without being the bunny. But as soon as I transition away from it, I will go back to a proper light world screen. But yeah, as Chex was saying, we can't actually beat this dungeon yet.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go to the end here.
But we do prepare. So there's like one door we cannot open right now because we can't slash curtains. Mm-hmm. But of course, there is another door we can open, the main entrance, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna go back here and open up the entrance to the back section of the dungeon, which you have to use the fire rod for. And the reason is because, as I mentioned, you only get this fake Dark World if you haven't beaten Aghanim yet. And when we come back here later, it'll be after doing Aghanim, so we won't be Link at that section, and we won't be able to use the fire rod. So we have to go open it now, so that we can go back later as a bunny and just enter.
So do we want to talk about how the underworld is all connected?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so next up, we want to go to Palace of Darkness. And we'll get the hammer there.
Mm-hmm.
But to get there, we're not going through the normal overworld. We're going through a cave. And the underworld map is, as we, observe it, anyway, it's connected. And we will be traveling just through one transition, which is this cave, Spectacle Rock, and then down. And that will take us right into Palace of Darkness. Mm-hmm. Nice clip.
There we are. Now, a consequence of this is that because we entered a cave, the game still thinks that we're in a cave. Essentially, your dungeon ID gets set when you enter an entrance from the overworld. And in this case, we entered a cave. So you have 255 small keys when you're in cave state, because it gets set to -1, which as a unsigned 1 byte value is 255. So we get to just open that door for free. But leaving and re-entering, now we're properly in Palace of Darkness. And we gotta take a bit of an unusual route here because of not having the magic mirror. And death warping being pretty slow, so just kind of go up to that bridge and back, and then kind of just loop everything together nicely. You're gonna notice I'm gonna skip a lot of bomb pickups here. In order to skip the heart container from the boss here, I'm gonna need to have exactly 2 bombs, which means I'm gonna keep my bomb count pretty low, just so I don't have to waste bombs later.
Yeah, the game, for some reason, prevents us from using the menu in boss rooms after we collect the mirror. And we have to use up our resources to switch items. Specifically bombs to fire rod.
Mm-hmm. Just let this guy go past. I don't have any way to get him out of our way, so I'm gonna do a stalk a Link to the Past speedrunning trick here, called hammer jump, which is a precise bomb jump that clips me into this railing, so I can get to the hammer. Nice. And then we're gonna go in here, and it's dark again. Luckily, I'm just going back for the key, which isn't too hard to find. And then, yeah, Link is gonna die again. Dying a lot in this run, I don't know.
Okay, just don't die more than 27 times, and it's optimal.
True. The actual, routed number of games played at the end is, 28 or something, if you don't have any extras. I forget exactly. I knew it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's just under 30. So now we've got to Helmasaur, and you might remember there's a long, dark section leading up to it, so here's where we're going to start using some creative strats. I forgot I didn't have any arrows left there.
So for the folks in chat who are asking what does low percent mean, it means that you must collect the lowest number of items and the lowest level of upgrades possible. But you do still have to defeat every boss and collect all the crystals and pendants, and you must obviously rescue Zelda. And yeah, so the allowed items are bow, hookshot, fire rod, ice rod, ether, hammer, book of Medora, cane of Samaria, master sword, but not the fighter sword because we don't want the shield from Uncle. which we've already skipped, and Pegasus boots, power gloves, and flippers. So basically, minimum items required to be able to beat the game. Many of which only have one required usage.
Oh. This is a disaster. I'm just gonna die here.
Yeah. We got a turtle blocking the fire rod shot, I suppose.
Yeah, I've had that happen a lot lately. I think I was too slow. I need to get more magic, so, flashbacks to, SGDQ last year. Remember my run from that. We're doing that again.
Yeah, so Helmosaurs are part of the high value drop pack, and the next prize is going to be the full decanter of magic. So we'll get that once we get the 50% chance it is to get the reward. There it is.
And I need to waste my bombs again. Oh, just got hit there. I don't know how I didn't, honestly.
Yeah, I thought I saw that go right through you. I'm like, excuse me?
Game's weird, man.
It really is.
Yeah, and the hit detection is every 4 frames. So you might have times where it looks like you're grazed by an object, and you probably should have been hit if you got the unlucky frame.
Cool, I love this game. It's fine. Alright, take 2. So, the developers were kind enough to put a couple torches to light in this 3rd room in this dark section, so that it's actually, like, possible to kill these.
Nice clear.
Alright, and then one last section.
Coming is King Helmosaur, which does 2 hearts of damage.
We stick an arrow in that turtle to know where it is, and then we can get past them. That was whatever. Alright, so now I have 2 bombs. When I place the 2 bombs, I'll run out of bombs, and it'll switch to fire out automatically. That's going to allow me to spawn enough stuff on screen.
Nice.
Just like that.
Nice delete.
So 2 bombs, 2 fire rod shots, and the boots dust is 5 objects, which is enough to prevent the heart container item receipt from spawning. And also, the fact that the boots dust from doing a fire rod dash immediately goes away when I touch the heart container makes it so that there's a spot for the crystal to spawn afterwards. It's so lucky that there's any setup at all for these.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's Palace Darkness. It was not a terrible Helmosaur. He only did fireballs once. If he does fireballs in phase 2, it's really scary.
So next up is Desert Palace, and we're gonna get an item here.
Yeah, one that you rarely see in glitched runs.
The Power Glove.
Normally in glitch
So are we
runs,
collecting extra bombs now?
Yeah. So we just come back in here to grab 3 bombs. We're going to need them. And there's not really any place to get bombs in desert. So. Yeah. Normally we don't get Power Glove in glitched runs because of the DMA DMD we saw earlier allows you to access Thieves Town without getting the Power Gloves first, and then you can just get the Titan's Mint. But because of low percent, we can't get the Titan's Mint. We don't need it. We should get the Power Glove instead. The Power Glove as well also I think only has one required use. That's kind of a common theme.
Yeah, I think that's correct. And we need it to get to Cold Stare, the boss of Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is under a
There's
big
the
bonk.
required bonk.
Yep. One required bonk. So we're going to go over here. Conveniently, we can just get up on this cliff and then go down to Desert Palace. We don't even need the book to get in Desert Palace, but we get it anyway.
So it's nice to have hammer. We have something to beat up enemies with without using resources.
Mm-hmm. Finally. Yeah, we will be getting a sword at some point. So you'll notice we're gonna be working our way through the Light World dungeons at this point because we want to get the Master Sword as early as we can. The reason why we did Palace of Darkness kind of in the middle there is because in order to fight Moldorm, we need to have the hammer because you can only be damaged by sword or hammer. Man, getting hit by that Beamos, that was a bad mistake. I sure hope I don't die here. That would be really unfortunate.
Yeah. I thought you were going to die. All right, well, I hope you don't die later then.
Yeah.
The nice heart and a half you've got there, it'd be a shame if someone took it from you.
Yeah. Oh man, I accidentally pressed down. What a shame.
That's crazy because their hitboxes are so small.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no.
You're going to be seeing a lot of this. We don't get the mirror in this run.
It's not a required dash. Dash directly into the Beamos.
No. Could have skipped
Oh, that's a nice shortcut to use the gloves.
Desert Palace isn't... There's not a lot going on here. It's kind of a lot of like long straight corridors because it's supposed to be like... In vanilla, it's supposed to be like, oh, you just got the boots. Now you get to use them. Dash along these really long corridors.
You mind if I fill these long corridors with a couple of announcements?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone that the annual Sonic Hotfix event is back with Sonic and the Sega All-Stars. It's going to be live next weekend on June 14th and 15th, starting at 12 p.m. Eastern. This year we are expanding beyond the Sonic speedruns to include other iconic Sega franchises. It is the 65th anniversary of Sega. You can type !Sonic in chat for the full schedule and let us know what you're excited to see. And I'm looking forward to hosting that. And also, you should get ready for Summer Games Done Quick 2025 by checking out our SGDQ ambassadors. All throughout this month of June, support Doctors Without Borders by joining each ambassador's community in the lead up to SGDQ. Use !SGDQ ambassadors to check out the full schedule for our ambassador streams. Those are going to be awesome. And it's all raising money for a wonderful cause in the form of Doctors Without Borders.
So, Landmo was deleted. The heart was deleted. We're done here.
Nice. And it's our perhaps last opportunity to use the item menu after a boss fight. So
If you look to your
that's
right,
convenient.
you'll see an item we can't pick up.
Now we have a kind of a dangerous map wrap here because we're not allowed to be nudged to the right or press right at all. We have to only go left.
Mhm.
Safe.
Perfect. This is always scary, but it's not too bad. I did kind of walk for part of that there. If you kind of dash along like the diagonal slope of that big rock, you can, depending on like subpixel stuff, you can get pushed to the right. on a frame, and then you soft lock. So it's safer to just walk there.
Okay. So
another
now
seldom thing seen in speedruns.
Yeah. Back to escape.
Yeah, we're gonna need to get the flippers kind of before beating Light World. So this is pretty much our only choice for lots of money. But we get a nice little restock of bombs and arrows too. Arrows are pretty important throughout this run. We use them in some hard deletion setups, and later when we fight Vitreous in Misery Mire, we want to have full arrows going into that fight. So, just generally want to keep my arrow count high. Anyway, it's time to
We'll do another DMA here.
Yeah, to actually go to Tower of Hera. Now, we end up having to go from Sank for a lot of these, because again, we have to skip the mirror in this run. And if I'm remembering right, I think you actually can like delete the mirror in the same way we deleted the sword from Uncle. But the save point on the mountain here is actually tied to you having the mirror in your inventory, not to saving the old man. So it wouldn't help to do that.
Right.
Okay, whatever. Normally the gatekeeper takes one of my hearts, but I'll just let a tile do it instead, I guess.
Oh no. He accidentally got hit by a tile.
Uh-oh. What am I gonna do? Sure hope I don't die.
So it looks like you're walking at normal speed even though you're carrying a pot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That must be because you touched the crystal switch.
Yeah, if you touch the crystal switch while you're carrying a pot, then you get your normal walking speed. It's not by any means required, it's just... I don't even think it's faster, it's just kind of cool looking.
It's pot normal speed.
Okay, these things don't hit you when you actually want them to.
Please, Moldorms.
It's usually chaos, but they are completely avoiding the bottom half of the screen.
It was the most organized pack of Moldorms I've ever seen in my life.
Alright. Hera is normally a pretty fast dungeon, but we're going to do a lot of extra stuff here. So you remember the key I mentioned in the middle of Escape? I'm going to go get that now.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is a convenient bomb clip setup. All we have to do is dash into that bomb and then hold up left, and Link clips through.
So now I'm in kind of the sewer section, you can see here. I don't know if I should have taken that damage there. Should be fine though. That's annoying. Okay. So now, kind of going off what I mentioned about dungeon IDs earlier, even after doing that clip, I'm still kind of registered as being in Hera, so I get a Hera small key. That's going to be used in a little bit when I then clip to Swamp Palace and use the key in there. So we're going to kind of like 3 dungeons in one here.
Someone in chat's like, this is not the game I played. And it's like, no. Maybe not the way you remembered, but it is the game you played, I promise.
Yeah, I am playing on a legitimate Japanese 1.0 cartridge that I had to painstakingly cut the plastic tabs out of my SNES to play.
Yes.
So we're going to do a clip here called a dashed citrus clip. It's a funny sounding name if you have no idea the context. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Citrus is named in honor of Yuzuhara, who discovered a lot of clips and glitches for this game.
Yeah.
Notably, Yuzu was challenged to find a way to clip through this rail. And he did it very soon after.
I'm kind of surprised that worked. I don't like this bomb being here, though. I might get hit by it. Oh, we're fine. Okay. So, yeah. Remember when I mentioned Swamp Palace is weird? So if you do fake flippers in here, you actually end up still interacting with the normal floor collision. Because there's basically like extra code that when you jump in the water normally with flippers, it swaps Link's collision layer to the second layer, which defines the swimming and water collision. But if you do fake flippers, it ends up skipping that step. So you still interact with the normal floor collision. So we have to clip through, but luckily swimming movement is really weird and allows... Okay, you know what? You can stay over there, buddy.
He's just not bothering you this run. We'll see if he blocks your hook shot. Okay.
I was not in the right position. Harapot there, using super speed, which we haven't talked about. You can clip 1 pixel on that pot that lets you hook shot in a way that lets you inside it. So now I have to fight Moldorm here. Moldorm has the most annoying part deletion setup in the run. It requires me to have him die in a certain part of the arena. It's a fairly large window, so it's not as bad as it sounds, but it's still Moldorm. You know?
Yeah.
I hate Moldorm in this game. I hate it in Link's Awakening. I hate Moldorm every time it appears.
That... I'm not even going to try that. That seems a little high. Might work, but I'd rather just retry.
Oh, that's right. So I know of 2 ways to deal with this harp. You can try a high platform delete or a low platform, and you're using the bottom wall, so you want Moldorm to die low.
Yeah, he can still be like fairly high, actually, like up to like here-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, come here. That should work. So, because of the low amount of like, because of the low amount of like wall collision that there is, we can't just do like the fire rod dash setup we did for Helmasaur. We have to do a different one where you shoot 2 fire rods and then just kick up dust, which is only possible here because you're able to fall out of the arena and come back, because that setup actually blocks the pendant from spawning. So we have to fall and come back in so that the pendant will spawn.
Yeah, it's a funny give and take this room has.
And then that's the only way in this route. That was like kind of a gatekeeper for this route that we had to figure out. Alright, so now I'm going to go see the old man. But wait, we're not getting the mirror. Why would we get the old man?
Well, I don't know how much to spoil, except that it has to do with Swamp Palace.
Yeah, this has to do with beating Swamp Palace without the mirror. So normally to get into Swamp Palace, you need to like go to the entrance and then mirror to the light world and pull the lever in the dam and then go back in your portal and enter Swamp. But we actually get to do some shenaniganry to skip that. But in order to skip that, we have to have a save point on the mountain. And luckily there is a save point here in this cave. If you have picked up the old man but haven't dropped him off yet. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna not drop him off, because that would be bad, right? If I can press 2 buttons at the same time, which is apparently the hardest thing ever. Yeah, we're just gonna leave.
Well, in fairness, you are holding B down while doing that at the same time. Hold B, press A and Y at the same time.
So
that's a sword out hook dash.
Taking the old man on a bit of a tour here.
Yeah, he hasn't left Death Mountain in so
Yes.
long, so he gets to see all
he wants
sorts
to go
of things.
see the Master Sword. But I hope he makes it home safely from his trip to the Master Sword. You know?
And by the way, we used to call this the Old Manathon, and we used to use other followers to complete this section.
Yeah.
And we went all over the map. We used YBA to get around. We went to Kiki the Monkey. It was pretty crazy. But now we collect the Master Sword, which gives us a follower.
Yeah, an invisible follower. So, he's had enough.
Okay. See ya, old man.
He's just trapped in the Master Sword now. It's like Vati in the Four Sword.
Yeah. So when you pick up the Master Sword, the game gives you an invisible follower that serves one purpose, which is that when you leave the Master Sword Grove, it pops up this text of like Zelda telling you that the guards are moving in on the sanctuary, and then it deletes the follower. But if you save and quit out of the grove, you keep the follower, and that allows me to reload back here and not have the old man be spawned in, because he's not there if you have a follower. So we're going to do a few more errands before we get to Swamp Palace. But we will have this
Yeah, in fact, we have
to work with.
We have a dungeon as part of those errands.
Yeah, and have a quick flashing lights warning if anyone's bothered by that in a moment here.
Yeah, we'll collect the Ether Medallion. We raise the Master Sword and earn the power of wind, I suppose.
Is it the power? I forget what it is. Isn't it like ice and wind or something? I have no idea. I haven't played this game in English in a long time.
He's conjuring a storm or something.
So, go around the mountain here. Those guys were on top of each other. Bedrock's not too bad today. So we do, now that we have a sword and a hookshot, we can do spin speed or super speed clips. So you will have seen earlier that I did clipping by doing what we call dash buffers into walls, where we basically move and press A on the same frame. And for some reason that kind of just gets messy with the collision, and only on the overworld that happens. I don't really understand why. But we can also use a glitch state called spin speed, where you can release a spin and press A on the same frame, or hook dash with the hookshot. So like use the hookshot and press A on the same frame. And it puts you in this glitch state where like the game thinks Link is dashing, but he's not, and then you can kind of just walk through diagonal walls like that. So errand's complete, but there's kind of one last thing, I guess, which is we're gonna go fight Aghanim now. Aghanim is one of our required dungeons. Luckily, it is actually pretty cool in speedruns, especially in this speedrun, because there's a lot of dark rooms and we don't have the lamp. So we're going to go in to Aghanim's Tower the completely normal way of jumping around the screen and then transitioning to be on top of the castle and walking in the door without breaking the barrier, as one does. So this dungeon is basically just a long combat gauntlet with a lot of enemies and stuff. And
dark rooms in between.
Yep. Luckily, there are torches in these dark rooms. So these are handy dandy fire rod. You know how to navigate this maze in the dark.
So you just lost beams, but how important are they?
Not too important. We get this weird effect where if you light a torch and it goes out and you don't have the lamp, than the lamp cone. It's just that's actually there's collision in that shape on the lower layer in dark rooms.
Yeah.
Very annoying
You
for
have to
EG
use
runs.
EG.
Yeah. I'm gonna get that heart. I hope that it's probably gonna go out here. Yeah. Time loss. A few frames of animation. Good. These guys are on the magic pack, so we really hope to get a full magic drop here. Which is the first item in the magic pack, but it's only 50% drop rate, so... Okay. One day this guy will go to the left again. That guy can either go up or down, or, like, to the left. And literally de-rusting this run over the past 2 weeks, he has not gone left a single time.
You also got a new world record in the last 2 weeks, haven't you?
I did, yes, I did. I sure did.
I love when de-rusting for a showcase leads to a new world record happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have another flashing lights here in a sec.
Aghanim is about to rave out here.
Kind of bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a really hard category. So to get a good run, usually it involves having no disasters. And when you finally get that run, it's like so exhausting.
Yeah, this run is all about disasters. All right, everyone's favorite boss. There's some mild flashing lights too when he does the lightning.
Yeah, it's first you get the red-blue ball, then you have 3 chances at a blue or red-blue ball, and then you have the lightning phase. By the way, no one ever really gets hit by this lightning, but if it does hit you, it does do 2 hearts of damage.
I didn't know. I thought it did 1 heart.
It's the same as Vitreous Lightning.
Alright. Just a casual 0.
This does run. Hey, you're a bunny.
Wow, I forgot the Moon Pearl. So, actually, in this cutscene, if you don't have the Moon Pearl, there's an extra 2 text boxes at the end where Sahasla basically tells you skill issue. Go back. And you don't get a refill of your health and magic. So, that's why we really want to get that magic drop from that one guard, because we don't get a refill here.
And it's also very hard to get back to the light world.
Without a mirror, yeah. How are we going to do it?
Yeah, without the mirror.
Because also, after you beat Aghanim, save and quit in the Dark World keeps you in the Dark World, spawns you back on top of the pyramid. So the only way back to the Light World, actually, is to go back to the Houlihan room. And notably, the Dark World doesn't have very many holes on the overworld. Only in Skullwoods. So I'm going to definitely be going to Skullwoods, I promise.
Right. This is how you get there.
Yeah, this is how you go to Skullwoods.
Yeah, you have to clip 3 times. And once you get to that point, you can reach a transition that map wraps you to Skullwoods.
Every time I'm doing this, I'm like wrapping around the overworld screen, and it's dropping Link's coordinate lower and lower. His coordinate on the overworld is actually like a global coordinate. It's not just per screen. So now it thinks I'm kind of below the map, and through the magic of however it determines screen transitions, I'm in Skullwoods with a messed up camera. How convenient. But
yeah, of course.
Now we get a really weird thing. So because I dropped in a hole, it activates a glitch called Super Bunny, where basically I'm kind of sort of Link, but also the bunny. And because I don't have the Moon Pearl, it doesn't do a check of Link's state when I exit to the overworld. So I'm the bunny in the light world. And times Super Bunny. And this state goes away if I get hit. I really don't want that to happen.
Yeah, it's a bit daring to dash through the tall grass because sometimes a guard will spawn.
Yeah, I had that happen
recently. To happen in a bad place. So Super Bunny can do things like use the A button, so that means we can pull levers.
I'm flooding the dam there, and that's going to do something interesting. So normally what happens with that is that it resets when you screen transition, right? But because I saved and quit, that doesn't count as a screen transition. So now the dam is still flooded. So now that I have a save point on the mountain, I can clip into Tower of Hera, go back to Swamp Palace, and the dam will still be flooded, and that'll allow me to basically leave through the main entrance of Swamp and go back in to get the Swamp Palace dungeon ID and be able to enter it properly.
And I see you have one small key, which I forgot why you had picked up a key earlier.
Yeah.
That's for this section.
We need a key to get out. Because of the way we did, we were in the dungeon earlier, we ended up flooding one of the small keys. So we needed to get an extra key to... I'm just gonna kill this guy.
Yeah, you need space to do your dash citrus.
I mean, he was probably gonna leave me alone, but he deserves it. It doesn't matter.
So here's a key door. We normally get a key from the other room to open the key door from the other side. And there's a key pot, but we don't need that one, do we?
We'll get on the way back.
Right.
Yeah. So now the water's there, and we can just leave and re-enter. And because I started in the light world, I'm still like in the light world, so I have that kind of fake dark world state like earlier. So I can come back in and not be Bunny.
Yeah, and that is Mirrorless Swamp. That is our big mirror skip just to get through that lobby of Swamp Palace.
Yeah. This would be the only required use of mirror. And we skipped it.
I'm trying to remember if that was discovered for the purpose of rando or for speedrunning.
I think it was for rando.
Yeah.
Speaking of things, I guess this wasn't discovered for rando, but this setup was. We're gonna do a trick here called Diver Down. We place a bomb in a certain spot, and put Link in a certain spot, and then it clips me into the fence, and I can just jump down the ledge as if there wasn't even water there.
Yeah, the water tiles are pretty strange on that screen. There's essentially no water tile where you just jumped.
It's actually like genuinely impressive what running rando will do for a speed game. Like when a randomizer gets really popular, it can be really impressive what it ends up doing by bringing more people into the game.
I really want to have sword beams here for the deletion setup, so I'm just waiting on that guy. So now you gotta fight Argus. I'm not gonna do it the cool way, because it's too hard. And I have a skill issue.
So, how much do we want beams here?
A lot. I want to have bombs entering GT, so I don't want to have to do this deletion with bombs.
Yeah, so we cannot get hit.
It's like I can still do the deletion with bombs. It's just annoying because I'll have to pick up extra bombs in GT and lose time.
Nice quick kill.
Very nice.
Nice. So 3 arrows, sword beam, and dash dust.
I do believe we'll be
skip that.
taking a break for wellness momentarily after these text boxes. So that'll be a good time to pause the timer once the text boxes are done. Once we're done being yapped at. But as we transition into that break, I just want to remind everyone that Black and a Flash's Summer Speedrunning Celebration Juneteenth is going to be live on the GDQ channel from June 19th to the 22nd. Type !Juneteenth in chat for the full schedule, and you can visit gdq.gg/BAF to learn how you can join the Black and a Flash community. And, sometimes I forget just how long you get yapped at in this game, and it's even longer in English.
This is the longest one.
It really
by a
is.
decent margin.
What are you worried?
Actually,
I just remembered.
What do you think is the scariest thing coming up next?
The next 2 dungeons.
All right, so this is a great time for that break, and we're going to pause the timer. And we'll be right back in just a few minutes with more of this run. Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 45 of Passion Project, the best place on Twitch to show what you love the most in speedrunning and gaming. Passion Project is my favorite video game, and for a lot of people in chat, I've noticed that Link to the Past is their favorite video game, and we've got more of that with Glan and Chexhuman as we're gonna take on some 2 very difficult dungeons coming up in this low percent all dungeons run. Go ahead and take it away.
All right. Should I count it back in, or?
By all means, count us back in.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right.
So we've just completed Swamp Palace. Oh, that was an interesting transition. We are... Well, what world are we in, Glam?
We're in the light world right now, but we have dark world graphics, which is a weird thing that happens. So I mentioned earlier, if you get in that fake dark world state, or kind of the game thinks you're in light world, but you're on a dark world overworld screen, if you do a screen transition, it'll then put you on a light world screen, because it uses that like world value to determine where to send you. You might wonder, I had that save point on the mountain. Why did I do all of this just to get back up here? Well, whenever you get a crystal, it actually deletes whatever follower you currently have. So now if I save and quit in the light world, I will spawn in the old man cave, and the old man will be there. And I won't really have a good way to get rid of him. So for the rest of the run, we're not going to be doing any save and quit in the light world, if we can help it. I mean, hopefully not at all.
Yeah, I don't know a way out of that, if you did.
Well, sounds like we gotta patch it out then. Patch out the functionality.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? I'm not going far enough in the wall. Shouldn't be a hard clip.
So, for anyone not familiar with the glitched entrance of Ganon's Tower, that's going to be our next dungeon. We're setting up a GT clip here, so that'll wrap Link so that Bunny Link lands on the staircase before Ganon's Tower, and there we are.
Yep. The entrance is actually just open all the time. It's just kind of the bottom part of the staircase that you have to spawn in by getting all crystals. So we can just do a clip there and jump to it, and it's actually... If you're not a bunny, it's one of the easiest clips in the game. Ironically.
So what makes a bunny clip more difficult than doing this a similar clip with Link?
You can't use your sword or boots, so you have to do 1-frame clips.
Gotcha.
Yeah. With with sword and boots and stuff, like doing a clip there to GT is really easy. Doing a 1-frame clip, I mean, that's still like not bad as far as 1-frame clips go, but
by comparison to being able to use items, like it definitely is.
So normally in speedruns we'd use the boomerang in these rooms. We don't have it. We also don't have Samaria, which is what like low percent NMG would use. So we have to resort to bombs. The basement of Ganon's Tower isn't going to be too bad. There's not really a lot of danger here, especially when you're like really practiced with the game. So I'm just gonna kind of be taking some carefully planned hits so that I can die by accident again.
I like how we phrase that as so I can die by accident again. There was someone in chat earlier tonight who said, "Don't worry."
Picked up the wrong pot. Don't worry about it.
Nice hover.
Someone earlier in chat
So
was like,
that's
"Don't
why I
worry."
wanted to enter GT with bombs, like I mentioned before the break. So we have the Ice Armos fight here. This is not really much danger with the right strat. Just kind of.
Armos fights are always really satisfying to watch. I'm not even gonna lie.
So we're gonna restock up here. Because luckily they give us arrow and bomb refills. Then we're gonna do the climb. The climb is another really long combat gauntlet like Agnum's Tower earlier, but even harder. And I only have 3 hearts, so hopefully we don't die.
Yeah, it's really difficult. This is where we can complain about RNG for sure. Because we have to react to the random movements of enemies like the Zazax. On top of that, by the way, we have the Mimics rooms, which are very technical rooms, and very subtle movement affects how these go. So that was well done.
I don't know if I'm gonna make this.
Ooh.
Okay, nice.
Perfect.
And I even got a heart drop, so I get to enter with full health, which is really nice because there are enemies up here. Just walk this, I guess. There's enemies up here in the gauntlet, which do 2 hearts of damage. This section of 5 rooms we call the gauntlet. It's just 5 back-to-back kill all enemies rooms. It's really difficult, lots of RNG to react to. It's even harder when you have 3 hearts and Master Sword. This is really bad RNG.
And we may save ether for the last of the 5 rooms, which for anyone with light sensitivity, it is a flashing power.
That's unfortunate. Alright, so we're going to use ether here. This room is just very inconsistent. So it's going to freeze this Zazak, and then I'm going to kill it with the hammer, which forces a drop from the magic prize pack. That's annoying. I'm alive. I was not scared at all.
You know, don't
Anyway, I
worry,
have to
I'm
fight
just
Lanmo
here to make your
2 with
speedrun noises.
half a heart. I don't have any
understand.
words for that one.
I do not understand.
Me neither. At some point when you run this game, you just stop asking questions.
There we go. It's such a hard fight with the shooter.
Yeah, and I have to not use all my magic there because I need to light the torches later, and I only have the fire rod to do that, which is going to take half my magic meter.
Right.
Oh, no drops. It's fine. You can do that room in 1 cycle. I just was a little too hesitant. These things instantly kill me. They do 4 hearts of damage. Which, we're gonna be seeing a lot of that in the next couple dungeons. Things that instantly kill you.
I cannot believe you didn't hit any of the guards on the bridge. That was strange.
I'm genuinely
wait,
impressed.
Wait a moment for the fire bar to be at a better position. This room might look scary, but there's no danger, realistically. But those lasers also do
right
4 hearts
side
of
first.
damage. I don't... Just gonna do that.
That works.
It's not what I'm supposed to do, but... So I'm skipping this chest key because there's some chance, I don't really fully understand how, that the bunny beam, if you get hit by the bunny beam, you can just get permanently bunnied and you have to die and redo the whole dungeon. Anyway, we're gonna not fight Mulron too.
Casual hover right
Nice
there.
hover.
That was not a very good hover, but
I mean,
It got you across.
it got you
Got me
across. It's
across.
true. You did it in one. There's a lot of folks who struggle with hovering. All right. For anyone joining us, someone has asked, what does low percent mean as we refight Aghanim and pray for good RNG here? It does mean that we are going to beat the game by getting the lowest number of items and lowest level of upgrades possible. We must also defeat every boss and collect all of the crystals and pendants. So the allowed items are bow, hookshot, fire rod, ice rod, ether, hammer, book of Medora, cane of Samaria, master sword, but not the shield from the fighter sword, so we skip the fighter sword, and Pegasus boots and power gloves. I'm glad that explanation took the length of one Aghanim fight.
I tried to do a clip there. If you can quickly clip out of bounds there, you can scroll the bat off screen and it ends the cutscene early. It's pretty hard to do. So it's not really a consistent time save.
Now we have a long overworld section, Glenn.
You might be wondering why I'm Link here. Well, that just happens.
Yeah, because we're dropped off by the duck.
This is actually what allows us to skip, well, not necessarily just a Moon Pearl, but, you know, any sort of item that could give me Link State is that when you beat Aghanim 2, you just are Link in the Dark World. It's just kind of hard-coded because they kind of just assume you would have the Moon Pearl. A pretty safe assumption. So we do a little hookshot clip through the fence there.
Nice. That's one of the newer clips.
It's a cool one. That's
Taking
another
advantage of that.
another Yuzuhara special, I think.
Yeah. So we have to take advantage of our Link State to open up Thieves Town and Misery Mire.
Yeah.
And it really is helpful to get into Ice Palace.
Yeah. So there's another flashing lights thing here.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
The overworld is kind of messed up because we're not transitioning from the portal, so it doesn't deal with the tiles from the overworld.
Yeah, it doesn't load in the rain graphics. Yeah, so Thieves Town and Misery Mire, we can only open these dungeons as Link, so even though we're ultimately heading to Ice Palace, we have to open these on the way. And then we can come back later as a bunny. And the other noteworthy thing here is that this is my one chance at a Link State. If I die here, I would kind of have to redo GT, but that's not going to happen, right? I'm definitely not going to die to zeros. Why do they put these enemies in Zelda games?
0 deaths to zeros.
He's gone. I can relax now. So we do a little funky clip to get to Ice Palace. Just jump over the screen transition. And then do it again. And then we get to swim down here and go to the right. And then this puts me somewhere. I honestly have no idea where. And now I'm at Ice Palace.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
So we're going to do another dash citrus here. Ice Palace is pretty cool in runs. I wouldn't say the dungeon itself is too difficult, but the boss, this is the scariest boss in this run. Like, I don't think it's even close.
Right. There is some script at the very beginning, but there's not really enough power to get
that's
us
annoying.
through a completely scripted fight. And there will be a little improvisation to get through the second half.
Yeah, unfortunately I took damage there. I need to have sword beams going into Cold Stare. So hopefully I get a heart drop from these. Yeah. If not, I can go to the fairy pod. It's just very slow. So we dispatch these penguins with one bomb. And I have to wait on the spike, because again, I can't take any damage. So we did that bomb jump there, which skips the whole main puzzle of this dungeon. You're supposed to do like this big loop around to get the pegs in the right orientation and be on this side of them, but by bomb jumping past the red pegs at the beginning, we can just walk straight in. Really standard speedrunning trick. It's in, you know, it's done in no major glitches as well. And now we have the boss. I am going to just focus on this. This boss is really hard. Don't have any extra fire rod shots. I'm actually just going to commit to doing that deletion setup. These instantly kill me, by the way, if they touch me. Aye. Okay.
I was not sure how much damage that the ice hit did, and I panicked big time. I'm very glad this was one of the times I was accidentally muted, because the noise I made was not very becoming.
Good delete. And the delete is very nerve-wracking. So, well done.
Yeah, very good.
So what you did was you committed to using bombs.
Yeah.
So you switched to bombs to ready up, which meant that you could take a hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to do arrows because there's a chance with the arrow thing that you can just soft lock, depending on the search index, which is like, it's inconsistent because of Ice Armos.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I'm really glad that went well. That was the scary point of the run.
Yeah, those two dungeons, like you said,
there's not really
scary.
a good way back in this dungeon as a bunny if you have to reset. Or, you know, you could soft lock on the... It's like the only deletion that I have really any chance of soft locking on. But that's, again, only with if I did the arrow version, which is why I committed to not.
So we saw a swim across the moat earlier, which was pretty simple as Link using sword out hook speed, but now we have to use 1 frames as a bunny. And that was a very fast 1 frame.
Now we get surfing bunny.
Yes.
This is one of the, like, long-lost ancient texts of this game.
And by the way, it's not easy to get fake flippers as a bunny.
No, it's not.
Because of I'm not really sure if
For
I can
some
explain
reason,
that, right?
For some reason, you have to diagonal.
Yeah.
There, I don't know why, but it just doesn't work if I hold straight left. But if I hold down left, then it works. Anyway, I call these two guys Dumb and Dumber. Because we just walk past them a lot of times in this run. They're not very good at their jobs.
And since Glenn opened the entrance of Meyer earlier, he can get through as a bunny now.
Mhm. Yep. And can anyone guess what we're about to do?
My guess is Dungeon Bunny Revive.
You'd be right.
We increase the game counter. We must be at something like 18 deaths
Yeah.
or something.
One more game's played.
Yeah. Or not necessarily get deaths, but deaths and saving quits.
Meyer 2 is a very satisfying room.
Nice.
So this dungeon is not too far off of the NMG route. There is one difference though, which is that we can't get this key that's in the spikes because you take 3 hearts of damage to get it. So, I mean, I could get it, but I would die after getting it. Wouldn't be very helpful.
That's not optimal.
No. And of course, you know, we have to do the dark room without the lamp, but that's a minor detail. So yeah, the slugs are on the bomb pack, which is a guaranteed drop. It's a 100% drop rate, so you can just kill them to get a bomb. Yeah, we'll need a bomb for the dark room. When I was first coming back to this category, I was trying to do spooky action, but I just wasn't getting it consistently for reasons I didn't understand, so just used the bomb.
Fair. All right. Forget Fire Rod Spooky. What you need to do, bomb Spooky in the dark.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can see bombs,
frame per-
so in theory, you could do it.
That's right.
I don't think I've ever done bomb spooky, at least not intentionally.
Right. So what we're talking about are glitches where you manipulate the altitude of your area of effect, such as from a fire rod shot, and we can use that to hit crystal switches that are out of the screen, off screen.
Anyway, walls are suggestions.
I really feel like I'm just watching
Yeah.
a Sonic game right now. As a Sonic runner, I am feeling like we have a lot in common here.
The last item, we're gonna get the Cane of Samaria. Guess how many required uses the Cane of Samaria has?
Exactly one.
Yes, exactly one.
I'm picking up. I'm picking up on it.
And we're about to see it. But thankfully, the cane gives us a lot of Ancilla or Ancilla, the stuff that Link makes, and so that makes it a lot easier to delete hearts.
Yeah, we're gonna have very easy heart deletions from here on out.
I guess when you break the block that it spawns, it shoots out 4 sprites, 4 projectiles, right?
Yep.
I do need an audio cue in this next room, so you just have it quiet for a sec. Okay, we're through. So there's a spike going back and forth there, and on the third clink is when it bounces off the right wall, so I can go at that point.
So this is one of the crystal switches that we were talking about earlier. So Glenn is using a bomb to get to the next screen.
And we're through.
Nice.
Nice.
Every time I watch a dark room done like that, I'm just like, I could never.
Didn't take damage on the anti-fairy. Alright, this is another kind of scary boss. There's also a mild, flashing warning when he does the lightning.
So the eyeballs deal 4 hearts of damage. We can't touch any of them. The goo does 1 heart of damage. The lightning deals 2.
Yeah, the lightning is also completely random in shape, so even if I'm against a wall like this, it can still just hit me if he wants to. Because fair game.
Yeah, Glenn shared a screenshot that was pretty tragic a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that one, but the previous beam had managed to go all the way to the down right corner, and like, wow. You aren't joking.
So now we can just place a block and then do a cane dash into the heart. And that's it.
Well done.
Super easy and safe deletion. Yeah, Vitreous isn't usually, like... It's not super likely to be a run killer, but sometimes... Yeah, you can just die, because which eye lunges at you is RNG. And sometimes they just decide to lunge at you when you're standing there and then you die.
So we want to go to Turtle Rock next, but that's on the opposite corner of the world.
Mm.
So how are we going to get there?
Yeah. Well, it's on Death Mountain, but we don't want to save and quit there, remember. So obviously we're going to go back into Misery Mire.
Wait, you've already lost me. I was expecting more screen wraps.
Yeah, so this is going to be a route through the underworld to get across the overworld.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a mega dungeon of sorts in restricted major glitches because Mire connects to Hera, Hera connects to Swamp. We're going from Swamp to Hera at this point. And once we leave Hera, we'll be on the Dark World. I mean, yeah, in the Dark World,
Fake light world.
In the overworld.
Yeah. I guess I'll grab the arrows. I don't think I need them. So we're gonna come through here, back to this room, and conveniently, this room where the torches are has diagonal walls. And I think by this point we all know what that means. Alright, there we go.
Nice. So that pattern of 1 frame clipping is called the citrus clip.
Yeah. Which is named after Yuzuhara. Because yuzu is a citrus fruit. So, citrus clip.
So that puts us in the fairy room of Hera, and now we can warp back to the beginning of this dungeon and leave through the entrance, and now we're in Death Mountain.
And now we have a bit of a scary part here. You know what? Got scary too early. You're not going to do it again, are you? So there's Lionel's here.
Really? He was like, nah, you ain't going this way. You shall not pass.
I'm gonna despawn him.
Safe.
I thought so.
Whoa. No, sometimes they chase you.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So we need to clip down there, and it turns out that the easiest way to do that is to actually clip up here. And then do a chain jump like that.
Nice.
And now we can get into Turtle Rock without Quake. So luckily this dungeon has multiple entrances. Mire doesn't, so we need Ether to open it. So do a nice little bonk clip through that fence. Once again, walls are suggestions. We have to backtrack a little bit to get the big key, and then we'll go through the rest of the dungeon. Turtle Rock
Hey,
has
there's-
a lot of enemies that do 4 hearts of damage, but we're not really very likely to run into them. So it should be fine. That's the worst
There's still-
RNG.
There's still one more dark room as well.
Yeah.
It's
easier
it's
than
less
you would
of a
think.
problem. Yeah.
I think everyone who's played this game casually remembers that particular room. But it's actually really not hard when you know what to do. Important trick coming up here. Don't open the chest.
Please tell me you haven't opened that chest by accident.
I don't think I have. I
Okay.
have gotten the Titan's Mid out of pure muscle memory.
Oh no!
Which is...
That was tragic.
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was like my old PB. I lost like 5.5 minutes or something resetting. Yeah, so this is
Right,
a track maze. But this is actually much easier than you might think, because you can kind of just hold directions. So
Yeah.
from this point, I'm just going to hold left, and it's going to bring me right to where I need to go.
And
yeah, switch to down at the end.
Hookshot gives you iframes, so you can block damage from fire bars.
Laser skip, so only the front part of the lasers has a hitbox. So we can just kind of time a dash to go through. I don't know why I menued there. You get out of the way. I hate that guy.
Also for the folks who
Notably, these are not required uses of the King of Samaria.
I
I really hope we don't ever get rid of the required use of King of Samaria.
I assume would the alternative be
Indeed.
very long hovers.
Yes.
That's what I was afraid of.
Oh, I did it too early. Oh, this is bad. What the hell? Okay, I'm gonna just wait here. Ordinarily, I would start attacking the ice one right away with the Master Sword since you can't menu. But since I wasted magic, I'm gonna wait so I can hit him with the hammer instead. Of course. I don't know why this guy's giving me trouble lately. I'm just gonna try to be... Did I get a refreeze? Oh,
Oh,
well,
sick.
I died anyway.
Worth it for the refreeze.
So we make our way
Surprise.
back to the boss. I just want to remind folks that if you are looking to get more involved with the GDQ community, you can join the official Games Done Quick Discord. And if you do that, you can add the Hotfix Enjoyer role to stay in loop on upcoming events, chat with staff, and more. And if you want to do that, you can use !Discord in Twitch chat for an invite to check it out. Also, for the folks at home, this is, if you are just joining us, this is a very difficult category because we, as you've noticed, we have 3 hearts because we've deleted all the heart containers. We didn't want any of them because they're considered upgrades and they're therefore not required.
Arbitrarily making my life harder.
There was someone during the, I think it was the cold stare fight, where it's, yes, we've hit the why do I do this to myself part of the speed run.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we just hit it at cold stare. Like,
No, I
hit
think
that
we
part
hit
of
it
the
when we
run
get to
pretty
like,
early.
yeah, I was like, we hit that pretty early, but it especially hits different when you get to like GT.
Mm-hmm. I Okay, so now I can menu to fire rod and then play it safe. Nice. The ice head usually requires fewer hits because the fire rod has a lingering splash, so it generally gets double hit by the fire rod, whereas the fire head doesn't get double hit by the ice rod. Okay, so now we just have to survive this phase, which isn't too difficult, and switch to Samari right before the last hit. And the heart container for this boss always spawns in the middle of the room.
Much better take two.
Yeah. I don't know why that boss has been giving me trouble lately. It's actually not one of the harder bosses in speedruns.
Yeah, I mean, compared to things like Cold Stare
are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has that RNG to watch out for.
I feel like that happens a lot when someone derusts a category, like something that never gave them problems before suddenly gives them problems, but something that they used to have trouble with is suddenly no longer an issue. It's playing whack-a-mole with consistency.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot. Yeah, we rescued Zelda, so the game's done. Zelda's rescued.
GG.
Now there's more dungeons to do.
We haven't done...
That's right, we have...
Thieves Town, I think?
Or Skullwoods.
Yeah.
Correct.
2 dungeons that are normally done pretty early in other runs, but we leave them late here. There's kind of a specific reason to that, which is how we're going to fight Ganon later, but also because we don't need the mitts and we don't get the tempered sword. Like, there's not really any importance to doing those dungeons early.
So we're going to see the map wrap to Skullwoods again. This time, to actually get to Skullwoods.
Mm-hmm. I went too far there. I don't know if I'm on the right pixel or not. I needed to go one further. The cues here are very weird.
I agree. Thankfully, if you don't get the lineup correctly, you can just try again.
Yeah.
One more.
Oh, that was weird. For some reason, I find the walk pattern isn't consistent here, and I haven't figured out why. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure. There might be a couple of ways to deal with it.
So now the hole that we fell down earlier, we're going to go around it and then just go in. And now we're at Skullwoods.
Nice. It's important not to fall in the hole.
Yeah.
It goes without saying.
It's scary, but don't think I've ever fallen in it by accident. Which,
right.
I'm glad that was a thing that I said after I did it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the rule is simply hold up left.
Mm-hmm.
Ow.
Damn, I hope I don't die in here.
You shouldn't have said anything, obviously.
Shouldn't have said anything. Alright,
but
now...
hey, we're Link again.
Yeah. Just go through the back of Skullwoods. This is fairly standard stuff. Hopefully I can do this strat in this room, because it's pretty cool looking. Oop. That was weird. Can I make it?
Maybe.
Yeah. There's a heart here, so So Mothula is a pretty annoying boss, especially with Master Sword. It's not really like, I don't know, it's not a great fast way to kill him. Yep. Base planning into the moth is definitely the strat.
In a perfect world, we would get 4 spins, but
Yeah.
there's a lot conspiring against us to make that happen. Nice delete.
And that's Skullwoods. We did half of it earlier and half of it now. Yeah, the last couple dungeons here are like a lot easier than the stuff we do in the middle of the run.
Yeah, because you're doing
Kinda-
basically
yeah.
the end game in the middle of the run.
Yeah. And even like the early game isn't that easy either because we do a lot of extra stuff and then makes it hard. Other than Desert, which is pretty easy.
Oh yeah. So next up is Thieves Town, and we're essentially just gonna walk there. You open the door, the gate earlier, so
Yeah.
just bunny walk.
We do the very exciting walk to Thieves Town.
Well, while the walk to Thieves Town may not be exactly the most exciting thing, but you know what is exciting? The things that are coming up on Hotfix. And if you are curious, whatever's coming up on Hotfix, you can check out this week's schedule and explore our full season lineup over at gdq.gg/hotfix. We've got a collection of shows ranging from variety like mine on Passion Project to more niche things like doing 100% runs, or this is the polar opposite of do all the things, actually. This is do as few of the things as possible, just all dungeons. So is it half and half? Who knows?
Why did he not hit me?
And if I may, I'm really looking forward to the next show right up after this.
Yeah,
with more Link to the Past.
Yeah, if you like Link to the Past, if you liked this, we're doing all dungeons with a controller. How about we do any percent with Link's movement being powered by playing the French horn? Because that's a thing. And if you
That's great.
if you saw Undertale, where with Nico Hart on my show a few months ago.
I need to get the big key.
Oh.
Well, let's go do that.
Scenic route.
Yeah, let's go get the big key. I imagine it's fairly easy to autopilot as well. To just kind of like, I've got all the things I need.
Kinda. I might be a little tired.
It is a little on the late side for a lot of folks, and I do appreciate you being here. And folks in chat, too, if it is late night for you, like it is over here on the East Coast, or maybe it's like dead of night if you're over in Europe, I do hope that you're doing well, and I appreciate you being here.
So we have the heck way coming up here. That's not what you're supposed to do. I'm amazed I didn't hit the spike.
I like how the Givo got stuck in the upper right-hand corner, so it couldn't block you any further.
Grab these bombs. I do need some extra bombs. So, well, extra bombs. I need more than I had. They serve a purpose. No, I don't want to have 1 health for much longer, right?
Right?
hopefully. And I'll have 3 after I die.
I guess that's one benefit to a 3-heart run. You don't have to worry about trying to find heart refills after you die in a dungeon because your health is full.
Yeah, it is actually a really nice thing. You should kind of like always have beams. So we take the maiden, and that's it. No tights, man. No need.
Right, it would be illegal to pick up any more items. So now we have the blind fight, which is a scripted fight, and in fact there is no RNG.
Yeah, it's a very chaotic fight that isn't random at all.
Right, and it sounds like a joke to say that, but it's just plain true.
Okay. You play this game enough, you enter the Matrix with blind.
I remember my first time
I don't know how to
fighting blind,
describe
I
it.
was
You
not
just,
happy.
like. Alright, so we did all the dungeons. We didn't get any extra items that we didn't need. No useless garbage like the moon pearl or the mirror.
Or any of those extra
tempered
hearts.
sword. So now we have to fight Ganon. And Bunny is no match for Ganon. So we're gonna have to not be a bunny. And to do that, we're gonna make use of a trick called Unbunny Beam. First, I'm gonna die again.
Bunny beam.
Surprise.
Most likely our last game played.
Hopefully. I'm gonna go over here to this pod.
Like bunny beam storage.
Yeah.
We are sort of messing with the timer that the bunny beam uses to keep us a bunny.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get turned into a bunny there and then leave the dungeon before the timer runs out. And then become a bunny because I don't have the moon pearl. And now the game is kind of turning me back to Link. Notably, I can't get hit because getting hit normally forces you out of the bunny beam. So that also messes with this glitch state. So we have to walk past Dumb and Dumber again, but they are aptly named.
At least one of them
Easy
tried.
Duke, I guess.
He doesn't always.
Yeah, I was shocked to see him try at all.
This is a really difficult part, though. We're going to have to clip up to Ganon, and it's going to be kind of like how we got to Houlihan at the start of the run, but this time with 3 enemies, and 2 of them throwing spears. And I can't get hit.
The Snapdragon's particularly annoying.
Yeah, the Snapdragon does
But
3
it moves.
hearts, so it instantly kills me. Is that the right bump? I think so. Okay.
Yeah, so like before, we're able to scroll up a bit and get to, the sort of a transition upwards, basically. But when we drop down, we're not going to fall into a failsafe room. We're going to fall into the Ganon arena.
Mm.
And to do that, we want to scroll the screen a bit.
Yeah, if I don't, I have to fix the camera here, basically.
I don't think the game's looking so good right now.
I love this part.
And you'll be able to recognize that the camera is fixed. Obviously, this is how it's supposed to look.
Mm-hmm.
So falling in here, because I fall in the hole, activates Super Bunny, and that's going to kick me out of the bunny beam state. And I'm also invisible. Yep.
Yeah, so this is the Ganon fight. We're also we're invincible.
Yeah, I cannot
So
take
we
damage.
Can't take damage, which is a nice
touch because Master Sword Ganon is very difficult, and everything in this fight would one-shot me basically. Well, not everything.
The danger, of course, is falling off.
Yeah.
So Glenn has enough practice to know how to deal with the recoil we get from Ganon, holding away from a pit and such. There is another iteration of on Bunny Beam where you let the timer run out, but you can still leave a dungeon as a bunny. And when you fall into the Ganon arena, you do become visible Link again. So there's a couple of ways to handle this boss.
Yeah, but it's a lot riskier because you will easily die to Ganon.
Yeah.
Master Sword Ganon's hard enough. It's even harder when you just get one shot by stuff.
So spins are the only way to deal damage, and we're into phase 3. And nice warps. Already into phase 4.
And we have to get Torch Glitch here.
Yeah, nicely done. That's important.
So now I have to do 24 spins to beat him without the silver arrows.
Yeah, we're getting silverless hits on Ganon that are not intended to be done by the player, but
yeah,
there are a few frames where he is vulnerable before warping.
I think it's 1 frame. But because the spin hitbox lasts for like 37 frames or something like that, it's a pretty big window actually. I forget the exact numbers, but... So I'm using the boots dust just to make sure that I'm not moving too far down. It's a little bit hard to tell just by the sword sparkles, because the sword sparkles move up and down.
Right. So we are getting low on magic, but Glenn does have a way of recovering the magic.
So we're going to do a glitch here called Samaria Magic Refill. So I'm going to shoot 2 arrows, 2 bombs, and then there goes my magic.
Nice.
I don't know why that works, but...
We are the drivers, not the engineers.
The Cane of Samaria is an item that was programmed.
It sure was.
I don't know how many spins I'm at. I might do a second refill, considering I just missed a shot on the torch. Gotta be close though. Yeah, okay. Alright. Ganon is dead.
Down.
Time will be when I enter the Triforce room, which you'll clearly be able to see. But it'll be in a few seconds. And
I hope
time.
Link is holding his sword up.
GG.
GG.
That was nicely done. How do you feel now that it runs behind you?
It went pretty well for the most part, other than like Turtle Rock, basically. I'm really happy to have shown this off. This category is really cool. It's very niche. Chicks and I are actually the only people who have run this route of it. Thanks for the GGs, everyone.
Yeah. It was a long journey routing it too. It went through a few different like phases of having different item sets.
Yeah, where we found ways to skip more items. The initial version of this that was routed actually had 3 different item sets that you could do, which were basically like kind of all of them shared like all items in common except for one, and then there were 3 versions where one got the Moon Pearl, one got the mirror, and one got the bottle instead as the last item. And there were 3 completely different routes. And then we found a way to basically skip that variable item, so it got consolidated to one route. And then I don't remember the exact timeline.
It was around 2020 or 2019 where the unbunny beam was really the last piece because we wanted one more link state. So once we had that, then we could skip all of the 3 link state items.
Yeah, and then the heart deletions got in there, and lampless as well. I forget if lampless was first or not. I remember I kind of was a little off-put by the idea of deleting hearts without the lamp, because the lamp actually helps with the setups for kind of a technical reason. But yeah, they end up working out well without that. So
I'm really glad that this run has went well for you. Do you have any shout-outs? Do you have any shout-outs before we get ready for our next run?
I also shout out kind of everyone involved in the glitch community of this game who helped route these, helped find tech. Todd shows a big finder of glitches and stuff, and Kern found a lot of bunny glitches that we ended up using on Bunny Beam.
And the category is sort of FSG's baby in a way, because
pioneered it.
He came up with the concept early on, even before we could get rid of mirror.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see so many people behind a game just kind of making sure, doing glitch hunting and everything to make things like this work. But we actually have, if you liked the glitches in this run, we have some more glitches for you coming up, because not only that, it's going to be done while powering Link's movement by playing the French horn. So we're going to have our next guest, Ad129, coming up. Glenn will be on commentary, and we'll also be joined by the person who helped make the coding possible to make Link powered by a French horn on commentary as well. So thank you for being here, and for everyone supporting GDQ Hotfix with your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits. Your contributions do help keep our shows running. So if you're enjoying the stream, consider subscribing for exclusive emotes, ad-free viewing, and access to chat during replays. And you can also always support the stream by sharing the Games Done Quick channel with your friends, and sit there and tell people, yo, I saw this sick Link to the Past run, or 2 sick Link to the Past runs on Passion Project on GDQ Hotfix. And, there's more awesome runs like that. So stick around. We've got just a few minutes between us and the next run, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 45 of Passion Project, the speedrun and gaming variety show that encourages anyone and everyone in speedrun and gaming communities to showcase their passions in games. But tonight, we're showcasing some passion in music and coding, because if you like The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, you may not have seen it played in the way that you're going to see in a moment. Joining me right now is Ad129 and their commentators Glan and Kolela, as we're going to show off what happens when you play a video game by playing the French horn. Go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Hello, I'm Ad129, and this is French horn percent or any percent major glitches on French horn. A lot of explaining that I will have to do before this run actually starts, because I will not be able to talk, obviously. So I originally thought of this idea from watching or attending AGDQ this year and watching all the amazing music speedruns. And that really inspired me to think of, how can I create a speedrun that's music related? And so through a lot of trial and error, as Koala can confirm, we built a code for us to basically control the game. We'll get into it as we get into the run. However, that's basically going to kind of control our horn into controlling Link into A Link to the Past. I don't want to get into the code because I don't know much about it. I'm not a coder. I'm a musician. Yeah, so if we're ready, I can give a countdown in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Now I'm
Enjoy.
gonna turn off my mic. Also, it takes a few seconds because I have a custom sound font. Shout outs to the Game Brass. They appeared on a previous hotfix with A Link to the Past. I just put in these new music, so it takes a while for them to load. So give it a second. But yeah, you're gonna hear some amazing brass arrangements of the music from this game. Hopefully it doesn't crash. There we go. All right, perfect. Time to mute my mic.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a quick rundown. So one day, Ad was like, "Can you make this for me?" And I said, "Sure." So basically, I helped create a code that basically takes music notes, as you can see on the bottom left of Ad's game. It takes music notes and converts them into images, and then uses those images and associates them with different letters. And it took a lot of trial and error because we had to make it so it would be able to read multiple notes in a short time. But otherwise, it works pretty well. There is a little bit of delay, as everyone will be able to see, but...
I'm currently trying to update something real quick on the code. It just decided to like input its own code into its thing, so I'm trying to quickly make some modifications on that. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, I can go ahead and take over from here while we're working on the code here. So if you want to catch up on past Hotfix shows, special events, and GDQ marathons, you can do that all over on our youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick page. If you're watching this on YouTube, you should make sure you hit the video. Don't hit the video. Like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with GDQ. Once upon a time, I said fill the like bucket. Now we're hitting the video. But just want to remind everyone again that if you do like our special events, we do actually have a couple of those coming up this month. That's going to be Black and the Flash's Summer Speedrunning Celebration, Juneteenth, which is going to be live from June 19th here on this Twitch channel here to the 22nd. Type !Juneteenth in chat for the full schedule and visit gdq.gg/BAF to learn how you can join the Black and the Flash community. And also, the annual Sonic Hotfix event is back with Sonic and the Sega All-Stars live on June 14th and 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern. So this year, we're expanding beyond Sonic Speedruns to include other iconic Sega franchises because we're going to celebrate Sega's 65th anniversary. You can type !Sonic in chat for the full schedule and let us know, and that's going to be me and Hypnotics hosting, so let us know what you're excited to see because I'm excited to host. Yeah, definitely smash the video. Oh my goodness. It's not a passion project without me being unable to speak. And also just a final reminder to folks, prize submissions are open for SGDQ 2025. So if you visit gamesdonequick.com, you will get more information on that. All right, so it looks like we're just about ready to come back to the run. Thank you for being patient while we handled things there. So go ahead and take it away, Ad.
Perfect. All right, sorry about that. Code, being code, likes to be a little bit messy. So we're officially ready to begin in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so yeah, I'll just do another quick rundown. So yeah, what happened was it was inputting his keys into the actual code. We want it in the game, so unfortunately that happened, but it is now good. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I don't have much else to add. Glenn, do you want to explain the run?
Yeah, so this is the any % major glitches run, which is it's the fastest category of this game. It's one of the fastest Zelda any % of the whole series, actually. So what's basically what we're going to do is we're going to make use of a glitch called EG, which stands for Exploration Glitch, and this is a glitch where we get Link basically onto the wrong layer where he shouldn't be. So we're going to start off by going into the castle. You can see it's taking a lot of effort with the French one.
We're moving bit by bit.
This was this was the major part that we had to work out, is being able to move at a reasonable pace with the French horn. Yeah, as we all can see, if you look in the bottom left, you'll see that different notes are appearing on screen, and that is what we are using, hopefully, to move around.
With that familiar Zelda text there.
So the way this works is Link's movement is powered by the French horn, correct?
Yes, so different notes are being played, and different notes are being set up to keys. For example, F is being used for up and notes like that. So each of them has its own key that correlates to an input on the game.
So, once we get into the castle here, hopefully it's not too much trouble to get past these guards. But I have a feeling it might be.
And I recall ad submission video for this category was actually like a college presentation, because this was their college project.
Yeah.
Interesting. So if you were around at the start of the show to see kind of near the beginning of my run earlier, where we went up here and did a save and quit in midair on the ledge, we're going to do the same thing here. So what this is going to happen is this is going to put us into a state that we call arming EG. So what happens there is basically when Link starts jumping down the ledge, the game kind of sets up to be waiting for Link to land on the ground, and when he lands on the ground, then it'll set his layer to be in the lower layer. But if you interrupt that, say by saving and quitting in the middle of the jump, we're now, just walking around normally, and the game is still waiting for Link to land on the ground, at which point he will be sent to the lower layer, regardless of where he is in the room. So we can trigger that in a few ways. In the case of just this pure any % run, it's going to be by getting hit by an enemy, which causes knockback, where Link is momentarily airborne and then will land on the ground. So we're going to go over here to this room here, and then just walk into the guard, and now that triggers the armed EG, so that Link is now in the lower layer, and at this point you can kind of just move freely around the whole underworld. Basically, you can kind of move between dungeons and whatever. The rooms are just kind of all there. You have free access to whatever, as long as you're not hitting the collision, which you're still going to interact with the lower layer walls like this. So, we see us to walk around these walls here. The end goal here is going to be to reach the room where Ganon is and then transition north. If you transition north from Ganon's room, you'll go to the Triforce room, and that's the end of the game.
Yeah, any % is definitely a very silly category, because it is literally like play about 5 minutes of the game, or not even 5 minutes of the game, and then just kind of walk to Ganon and say hi to Ganon, don't fight him, and just say hi to the Triforce.
Yeah, if you do the save and quit route, it's really easy. Like, anybody could do it. Like, you could just pick up the game and do it. Maybe you take like a couple tries, but like, there's really nothing to it.
Yeah, there is a There is a
something to it
delay.
when you're playing
go ahead.
French horn.
Yeah, someone was mentioning like sometimes the horn isn't being actively played during some of the movement. It is because the inputs that sometimes are like not they're delayed at times. So like it is reading those inputs and then playing them back basically is what I'm understanding here.
So you've reached Ganon.
Oh, there's Ganon.
There's Ganon.
That sure
And,
is a Ganon. That is time.
That's the end of the game.
Wow.
You okay there? You seem
I'm
a little
always out of
winded.
I am always out of breath after this run.
Yeah, there was you have a whole showcase that's a much longer that showcases different parts of the game.
Yes.
And I was like, I think for your own health, I'm gonna take any %, please and thank you.
Yes.
But that is very fun. Like I wanted this because I think it's really cool to see how folks decide to interact with gaming and speedrunning, and just knowing that you were inspired by other musical speedruns from other GDQ events, like, is really, really awesome. And like that sort of thing just kind of gives me a warm fuzzy over here.
Yeah. There's so much more left to this project. It's not perfect, obviously. Thankfully, so here's the thing that's really ridiculous to think about is this whole like showcase here, and then the like overall showcase that I submitted, that was completely done while I was like dealing with classes as well, and I like have long classes as well. So like, and like if I was able to make this like as the product and like get this out, like I have this entire summer pretty much free. And so our plan, me with myself and Koalila, is to just refine it, make it as best as it can. One of the goals that I want to do is you've been hearing the custom music. My goal is to record my own custom music of my own arrangements of this game, and record all the parts by myself.
Ooh.
I'm already in the process of that. I have currently recorded the raining sequence and the Aghanim theme, piecing it all together. And yeah, I have so much more, and then there's more to this project. So this is like not the end of it. Yeah,
consider this a taste of what's to come, because the project is very much a little more than a proof of concept. Like, it's definitely past the proof of concept stage, but I think that was more of the college presentation that you had done, was just like, hey, I have this working. It is very much a proof of concept, and it is progressing along as we're going. I'm still blown away at like people like you and people like Nico Hart, who like doing things like this, whether it's controlling games by playing music, riding a bicycle, using your DJ decks, or even just using using a literal professional camera, is another one I've seen from Nico Hart. Like there are very, very awesome folks out there who like to run with alternative controllers, quirky controllers even, and this is definitely among the quirkiest.
I guess we could do shout outs.
Absolutely.
Do you have commentators you want to shout yourselves out?
Yeah, sure. I'm Koalila. I made the actual code. It was very rushed. I was working full-time and in classes, so not great, but I'm happy to be working on it, and I hope to improve it in the future.
I'm Glenn. I did the run earlier before this. I've run Link to the Past a lot, but I also run a lot of other Zelda games. So yeah, if you're interested in other Zelda runs.
And your
guy.
Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Glan.
Glenn. Yep. No numbers, no underscores, no nonsense.
There we go. It's like, I can speak.
You can find me on twitch.tv/ad129sr. I try to stream as much as I can. I am starting to implement more music into my streams. such as like doing nights where I just play video game music for fun or things like this. And then I forgot to mention about this. The final goal in all is to do this entire showcase on console, which is very much a big step, but I feel like it's possible. I have an SNES. I bought one 2 weeks ago, so it's very much possible.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to where this project takes you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for submitting this, by the way, to Hotfix, especially considering like the fact that it's like not a fully finished project yet either. Like it's a work in progress, and like it's perfect for a show like this. So thank you so much for being willing to showcase a work in progress here. And thank you all here in Twitch chat for being here tonight. And do make sure that you look after yourselves and your loved ones. Drink some water, stretch your legs, eat a snack, take your medication or your vitamins if you need to. And remember, you are valid and you deserve the best. And the world is a better place with you in it. If you missed out on As Seen on TV or Passion Project, you can stay tuned as we replay both shows right after this, and tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for Make Your Own Victory. Passion Project will be back on June 26th. That's going to be Thursday, June 26th, starting around 10 p.m. Eastern. And you'll be able to catch me hosting the Sonic Annual Hotfix show, Sonic and the Sega All-Stars, with Hypnotics on the 14th and 15th. So be sure to catch those, and I will see you on the other side.